So it's sort of what's the absolute worst thing that can happen to me in these positions and how do I defend against it. We did some armbar escapes and triangle escapes last week, so we're going to actually do another armbar escape because the last armbar escape we had was like the second worst case scenario. Yeah, it was where I'm like this, okay? The actual worst case scenario is if my opponent is actually able to get me like this. This is the worst case scenario for me, okay? We did one version of an escape with a figure four. We're actually going to repeat that today because you can still do it from here. It's actually even better because when he's up like this, okay, and he's got this knee in my face right now. And actually what he would want to do is to straighten this leg a bit and put more pressure. Yeah, exactly. Not completely straight, but you want that pressure because now if I try to come up, you can, no, you don't need to hit that arm out. Don't take that arm out. Yeah, exactly. He can post down on me with this leg, and this keeps me from building posture. So, and now he has more time to work on getting my arm out, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is basically the exact same escape we did last week. So I'm here, and what I want to do is pummel this hand into his knee. And I'm going to use this to take the pressure off my face. And from here, I can start posturing up. And now I can go into the escape I did last week. Okay. So we get here, I want my knee here on his face. Okay? Well, next to his face anyway. I don't want my knee out here because now I don't have the base here and he can start rolling. I'll just roll. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now I'm back in that position. Yeah, okay. I'm going to keep my knee here, because this is, and I'm going to keep this foot like this so that I can pressure and try to roll me out now. Yeah. So you actually had to remove the arms from the arm bar me. Yeah, okay, so this keeps pressure on him, it keeps this pressure from this foot off my face, and it keeps him from being able to spin, because I've got him anchored with my knee here on his head. And from here, all I want to do is remove this elbow. The minute I get this, he can't armbar me anymore. The armbar's dead. Now I just need to remove my arm, straighten, and what I want to do is bring my elbow to my knees. How's that feel for you? Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to keep them as compact as possible. From here, we go into side control. Okay, so that one, armbar, absolute worst case scenario number one. Okay, this is actually, when I think about it, this is actually the first one we did last week was actually the third worst case you can get. This is the second worst case you can have. We're going to do one more after this, which is the absolute worst situation you could possibly be in. Okay, so just showing that one more time. Yeah, just take your armbar. Okay, so I'm here, I've got my hands, he's trying to break my grip. So the first thing I do is I take a figure four. This hand goes into this bicep, and I can use that to kind of block. I don't want to have situations where I'm using my grip because I can hold this a fair amount of time, but he's going to be stronger. Exactly. I can only hold this because this is muscle working against muscle, and Jan is deceptively strong. Okay? You want to straighten this leg a little bit? Yeah, because yeah, exactly. This is also just not painful, but this unpleasant. Okay? So we're here. So I have my figure four. Now this leg comes in under his thigh and starts separating the pressure from my face. Now I've got a little wiggle room here. Now I can start building up my posture again. Okay? And I want to come here. Okay? So from here, all we do is bring up the elbow and get it out from between his legs. Okay? Right here. The minute I have this, I can let go of my hand because now the arm bar is gone. I've got control over his legs so that if he tries to put my arm back in. Yeah, exactly. You have to So completely pull the arm out, control the legs, straighten the arm, and then bring elbow to knee. Okay, I want to have complete control over his legs. And the last thing I want right now is for him to be able to get his feet to the ground. If he can get his feet to the ground, he can build explosive pressure, and that's going to ruin my pass. He can start reclaiming guard and maybe sweeping me. So I want to keep his legs contained and his feet off the ground. From here, I just bring my hand to the floor and rotate into side control. Okay, this is my main position. Okay, clear what I want? Okay, so let's work on that one, and then we'll go to the really, really worst case scenario. So, we had last week the third worst situation you can be in. We just did the second worst situation you can be in. Now let's take it this way. Now we're going to do the absolute worst situation you can be in. Okay? Might need to do a couple of different angles with this so that it's on camera. So now we're assuming not only did he get me in this position, but he was able to separate my hands. Yeah, and now he's actually, yeah. So I'm in deep shit here, okay? This is bad for me. This is very bad, okay? So what we're now going to do is something called the hitchhiker escape. What he needs for the arm bar is he needs my thumb pointing to the ceiling, and he needs to be able to put my right arm in his right hip joint. Yeah, exactly. Now he's got optimal braking pressure, okay? So any escape is nothing more than reverse engineering what he wants and doing the opposite. So he wants my thumb to the sky and my right arm in his right hip joint. So I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm going to bring my thumb up and bring my arm into his left hip joint, okay? I can only hold this for so long, but this is going to buy me time, okay? And now with this hand, I do something similar in that I come in under his legs again, and now I'm going to push them to the side, and now I'm able to free my hand. Okay? It's called the hitchhiker escape because you're, doing this kind of emotion like you're hitchhiking. Okay? So let's do it from a different angle. Okay, and this is the absolute. The only worst case after this is if he's actually broken my arm, in which case I would say you should have tapped. Okay, so we are here, absolute worst case scenario. So I bring my thumb up, and something I'm also doing, you can't really see it very well, is go back. He's actually got my right shoulder off of the ground. Okay, so my right shoulder is actually, go back, no, because I'm not lying like this, I'm actually lying like this. He's actually got my right shoulder elevated on his hips, and I'll do the motion without you just so I can see. So from here, what I'm doing is, I'm bringing my thumb in, switching the hips on my arm, and I'm bringing my shoulder to the ground, okay? And that's going to reduce all of the torque. Again, you're not safe, you're safer, okay? It is an unpleasant position, but you're not in immediate danger of getting your arm broken, okay? You can wiggle out of that, okay? So that is our goal. So from here, thumb up, move to the other hip, and bring the shoulder to the ground, okay? So, yeah. He's got this this is a beautiful armbar position, so bring my thumb over here, now I'm on the other hip, and now I've got my shoulder on the ground, okay. This is better, okay, I don't have as much torque, I can start moving things around now. So from here, I bring my hand under, we're not going to posture up this time, what we're going to do instead is we're going to shove his feet down to my hip, okay. And if I'm in this position, try to armbar me now. Yeah, this is a really hard position to armbar me in. You can't really do it, okay? And once we get here, this is where we bring the elbow out, come up, and pass the side control. Okay? So, something I've said before, and this is what I think is really important with closed guard, is that if you're defending closed guard, in terms of submissions, he only has 3 good options, okay? One is the armbar. This is the most common, by the way, in the closed guard. The second is the triangle, which I think is actually the weakest of them. If you can get the triangle choke, it's good. But the problem is, it's just you need a very big motion to get that triangle. And I personally think it's really easy to just posture out before he's even able to close his legs. And the third one, we're going to go to that today as well, is the Kimura lock, which is also not the best. I think personally the Kimura is also fairly easy to defend against. So the armbar, this is the one you have to have. If I had one submission I had to defend against in the closed guard, it would be the armbar. But the other good side is you only have to worry about 3. Okay? Those are the only 3 submissions you have to worry about. If I'm in his closed guard, he can't get a leg lock. Leg lock. He can't really do anything. He can't do toe holds. All of this here, in terms of submission attacks, I'm pretty safe. I just have to worry about my arms and the triangle choke. Those are the only ones I have to worry about. Okay? In no-gi, there's a loop choke as well, and that's pretty much the only options he has. I mean, in gi, sorry. In gi, he has the loop choke. Yeah. No, the cross collar choke is actually not even a really good one, because I can just do that. So that's actually not a really good. Or if I don't have a gi with me, but if you start coming here, I can just start doing this. This is actually a really easy choke to defend against. So I personally don't think the cross collar choke and close guards are very good. And if you're like massive, if you're like the size of the big Jan, who's also one of our coaches, fighting like Jan or me, okay, then you're gonna get that to work. But if we're like the same size, I don't think that's a good option. So you really only have to worry about armbar, Kimura, and triangle. And if you've got a very good armbar escape, you're going to be able to beat most of his strongest attacks, and you're going to beat them in a way that makes it able for you to pass right afterwards. Okay? So that's why we're going to be spending a lot of time doing armbar escapes for the next couple of months. Just so you know. Okay? So, hitchhiker kick. Everyone clear? Okay, let's work on the hitchhiker escape. Okay. So we're now at a triangle escape. Pretty much every possible armbar situation you're going to be in, escape. Now we're going to do the last submission, which is the Kimura, how to escape the Kimura. So, this shoulder's a bit more flexible than this one. I'm old. Okay, so we did the entry as a drill, so he just comes up. Yeah, okay. Now, the good thing is, the good thing for me, let me go back a bit. Okay, from the beginning. So the good thing for me is actually one of you guys actually mentioned this to me when we were doing the warm-up drill, is keep going. Okay, stop. The minute he's here, I know what he wants. Okay? He's not gonna do an armbar from here, he's not gonna do a triangle. He has one option from here, and that is the Kimura. That's the only thing he's going to be able to do. So this is why I don't think the Kimura is a good attack, because you don't have a lot of ways to hide it, okay? You can hide armbars and triangle attacks and all sorts of other things. You can come into the armbar attack from various situations as well. The Kimura is kind of like having a big neon sign saying, I'm doing the Kimura now. So this is why I don't think this is a very good attack. So when he's coming up, the first thing I want to do is, and again, we're going to assume he's able to get his grip, okay? So he's able to get his grip. The minute he's here, what I want to do is bring my hand not in front of my stomach or chest like a lot of people do. I want to bring my hand to his. I'm going to try and do this without breaking your arm. Okay? I want to bring my hand to his opposite hip. Okay, so if he's attacking this arm, I'm going to bring my hand over to the opposite side of him onto his opposite hip. Try to Kimura me now.
That's not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? And then to make things even worse for him, I'm going to come up on this. No, keep your close guard. I'm gonna come up on here and then put some weight on him. Try to Kimura me now. This sucks, doesn't it? Okay, so, and from here, I actually have the option, I can grab my own hand, get a nice gable grip, and now I can actually start to Kimura, attack him. Yeah, and he has the option, he either lets go of the Kimura, or he lets me keep your Kimura. If he keeps the Kimura, he's actually going to give me the Kimura now. Okay? So he has those two options now. He either lets go or I submit him. In 99.9% of the cases, he's going to let go. And then we can just come back to our original position and fight from here. Okay? This is again why I think the Kimura isn't a good. You need to know it. Okay? It is one of the 3 strong attacks from the closed guard, but I don't think it's a good attack, honestly, not from the closed guard. I think there was a Danaher video a while ago where he actually analyzed and he found like no one in high level finishes the Kimura from the closed guard. Like it doesn't happen. Okay? So it's kind of a good indication this isn't a good option. You need to know it. If for no other reason, you need to know it's going to get attacked. Okay, people are going to try this on you, so you need an escape. So, but I think that's the whole thing. This is going to be the easiest escape we do today. So again, going under, he attacks the Kimura, and even if I let it get pretty late, I can still bring my hand over to this hip. Okay, even if I let him get the grip, I can let him get pretty deep, start taking my hand off the ground. I can still bring my hand over to this hip. That's something I can do really easy. Pressure in, grab my own hand, and then I just pull it out. Yeah, and he either lets go. Now, there is a danger, and I would say the minute he lets go, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You come back here because if you stay up here, then he starts, now he has an option to attack my legs. Okay? So the minute you get that arm free, go back on your knees and go to your neutral position. Okay? So, clear what I want? Okay. Just a quick note, there is one more lock that people try called the Americana. The difference between the Americana and the Kimura is for the Kimura my hand goes down, for the Americana my hand goes up. The problem with the Americana,
From here?
yeah.
Should I try to do that?
This is the problem. I don't personally use the Americana ever because it's a very weak lock. The only time I would use an Americana is if he's got a triangle on me. But he needs to be able to control my head in order to make the submission work. But if he does not have control of my head, gotta drop that shit.
I have nothing.
Yeah, he has nothing to keep me stable. I can move too much. I'm in no danger. Okay? Again, this is something, if he's like twice my size, he's going to get this to work because his weight's going to be able to restrict me. But if there's no weight difference, this is a very bad option for you. I wouldn't even bother. Okay? So, give your Kimura Escape a try, and then we're going to do some sparring.